Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to today's conversation on Gift of Healing TV. I'm going to say hi to my co-hosts first. Scott, hi. Thank you for thank you for joining us. Welcome.
Yes, it is one of those days. The energy is wonderful, and thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. David, welcome. Oh, oh, you're back. You dropped out. You're back again. Oh, we're having fun with the energies, especially mine. David, thank you for joining us and welcome.
Thank you, and it's nice to be here twice.
Yeah. Oh, you've got to love technology in the universe. And I'd like to say a very big welcome to our guest for this evening, because it's evening where I am, and actually where Virginia is and where David is. It's just daytime for Scott. Virginia Rounds Griffiths. Virginia, thank you for joining us today. The topic you've chosen is the hidden cost of energy blockages, overcoming barriers to ascension. Please share a little about yourself and why this particular topic.
Thank you for having me here, Sarah Jane. The topic that we're speaking about is really dear to my heart because energy is so important in our lives, but the majority of people don't understand that it's tugging them this way and tugging them that way and tugging them in every which way. And so when we have energy blockages, they really affect our lives in many, many ways, and especially our spiritual life, our spirituality, that connection to source. When there's blockages, we can't get, it's almost like there's a ceiling here that we can't get past. And people get so frustrated in their frustrations because they're doing all the things that they think that they should be doing, but they're not getting any further. So there's 2 steps forward and 4 steps back. This is this constant toing and froing, and they're coming up against brick walls. So this is why energy is so important on our, not only for ascension, but also because of our physical body. You know, if we have blockages in the physical body, that also stops us from, it causes issues, health issues in our bodies. So sorry, I went off on a tangent and I forgot to say who I was. So I'm Virginia Rounds Griffiths, and more than anything else, I'm an energy alchemist. So I can transform and transmute energy. And it doesn't matter whether that energy is in a body, whether it's in a house, whether it's on the land, wherever it is, I'm able to transform and transmute that. And I guess you could say I stumbled on it by chance. And I've been playing with it ever since. I also am a medical intuitive. So that means I can scan a body and tell whoever's needing the answer as to what's going on inside the bodies and where the blockages are. Spiritual teacher, as the majority of us are these days, because we've had the years of wisdom, the years of learning that we've had, and our journey has taken us down that path. So, and I'm an international best-selling author as well. Imagine that. So, hundreds of you here on this call. So that's a little bit about me. Yeah.
And just so that folks realize, it's sort of myself, Scott, and Virginia are all in the same book.
Very fortunate to be, yes.
Absolutely. So energy. And some people will understand what we're talking about. And you sort of talked about a sort of a block, but I was thinking about our chakras and our higher chakras. So we've not just got our crown, but we've got our higher crown. And sort of what I don't know the names, but 10 and 11, but I get this real sense that our 12th chakra is our universal star.
Oh, yes.
And so, and it's about, can we keep the energies of our chakras in alignment, in balance, spinning?
Yeah. Well, this is the big was there's a 60, let's say the $64 million question, as the saying goes. You must also remember, we forget about the ones under our feet.
Yeah.
Earth star, right?
Yeah.
Earth star's blocked, and majority of people have their Earth star blocked. They can't ground. And what's one of the most important things about this journey that we're on is to ground. There's a lot of people that have come into the Earth plane right now who are empaths. So that means that they're picking up energies all over the place. And the other thing that I notice a lot of them is they've had trauma in their lives. So consequently, that trauma is linked, of course, to emotions. And the emotions get in the way. Right? So they're so busy working on their emotions or dealing with emotions, they forget about all this other stuff. They forget about the chakras. They forget about all the Earth star. They forget about all of that and the energy bodies. So this is where the blockages come in, because they're so intent or trying to live life and trying to do the best they can that they've forgotten about these energy fields. And the majority of people don't even know that they exist. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And bearing in mind that I know that sort of Scott, David, and myself have all done our Reiki. Sort of, David, sort of, have you got any thoughts that you'd like to add to this? And I'll come to you.
Yeah, I was just. Sorry, Sarah. I come to you especially about the earth chakras as well, or the chakras beneath our feet. And I think we all, a lot of the time, we look after up here, but we forget about the earth and below our feet. And if we've had traumas and we've still got, even if we've cleared it as much as we can and we've cleared a particular trauma, I still feel that residual energy is there. And because we've learned how to deal with it and being empaths and healers, we want to heal other people from that. And I feel we forget that sometimes this energy travels up through the earth from others, and we are like drawing it in. So we're creating blockages as well from what we've learned. So we may be blocking ourselves from others, although we've tried to clear that particular trauma or ourselves. Am I making myself clear? Does this make sense? That we are a magnet for what we've gone through. Oh, look, that's a healer that can deal with that. And the energy comes up and we're dealing with it on somebody else's behalf, because all the energy is coming below from us. So it's really important, as you say, Sarah, to make sure we don't have only these chakras in alignment, but our energy centers below our feet as well, and making sure we're clearing from there.
Interesting. When I talk to, if I can just say, when I talked about traumas, I'm also talking about and we talked about the empaths. So basically, these people are not grounded. They're either halfway out of their bodies or fully out. So they're taking on the collective consciousness. So you know what that's like right now? Yeah, it's probably the worst it's ever been. And so people are taking on all of that stuff. And that means that they're taking on other people's energies. And it's coming from the collective consciousness. It's coming because they're not grounded. So they're out of their body. So guess what? They're just there. They're free to be embedded with these other people's emotions and all the traumas that are going on in the world right now, which we know are many. And so that's my perspective, which is, and David says, is that way I see mine coming from not being grounded and being out of the body. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's different for us all, isn't it, Scott?
Totally.
Virginia, I love the energy alchemist. Now, even when I'm dealing with healers, especially, I bring them back into their bodies so that they can align, because when you're in the 5D and you're all up in here, you forget about this part of you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you found it, but a lot of healers have syndromes, and they do energetic bypasses to get around. Oh, I don't have to. I can ignore this pain. I can go around it. I can do this. And what happens is they really do themselves an injustice. And I have a number of points because I see the world as you do, and that is vibrationally, energetically. Mm-hmm. That the body needs to be grounded because, much like a circuit in the electricity, it needs to have a ground, and it needs to have, so that amplitude has to go all the way up and all the way down.
Yeah.
When I deal in 13 chakras.
Right.
4 above and
7,
and then
2.
And 2. The second one, and most people don't talk about it, is the alchemy, which is lower than the Earth star.
Yeah.
So, and most people don't know about that, but that's where you get the true grounding. But also, what I find is that bringing Kundalini energy up from the Earth to be able to allow it to come all the way through. When there are traumas, and we talk about people getting stuck in their traumas, right? Mm-hmm. So it manifests somewhere in the body, and it doesn't allow the energy all the way up or all the way down. It blocks it. And that's where we get pain. And I found that in healing and doing healing with people, if we can remove the blockage, the pain goes away. The pain goes away. Say, wait a minute, that's amazing. The pain, yes. Well, every emotion resides somewhere in your body. I ask people many times, where do you feel anger? Some people say, here, over my side, really low. They all feel it in a different manner. And so that's where they hold their emotion. Emotion being energy in motion, emotion, that it sits within the body. And so clearing that allows that flow of energy. And only then can we then really center ourselves. We can brighten our chakras to make sure that their vortexes are fully engaged, so that we can see all the energies and we can process things right.
It's true.
I love the work you do, but you said it kind of came on you. So what was there an instance, or was there a happening that made you aware or made you want to come into working with energy?
No.
That was probably one of the short answers I've ever had. Okay.
Sorry, Scott. I mean, no, as in, I never really set out to work with energy.
Really?
Yeah, I never did. And in my book, in my chapter, I talk about I bought into this place, kicking and screaming, from my sister. She was the one she was a catalyst whereby I'm doing what I'm doing now. Because she was very much into, what was that? The book about miracles. Remember it was way back in the 70s. It was very famous.
Oh, The Course in Miracles.
Yeah, The Course in Miracles. But she was into all of that kind of stuff. I had trouble even just sitting still and even trying to meditate. Like that was not my agenda, right? That was not my thing. I had other things to do. I was alive and well in the third dimensional life in the area. And so she slowly and surely she got me into this. And it as it turned out, I guess I was a natural. It was meant to be. Yeah. And I do a lot of experimenting on my own. I just click into this and then I'll click into that. And then all of a sudden when I come back, I thought, oh, what happened to that? It's gone. So this is how I learned. Everything I've done is it's self-taught. Taking into consideration, though, I have done Reiki, I've done pranic healing, I've done, all kinds of the modalities. But in the end, as you all know, you make it your own, don't you? Your own starts to bloom from that, and then you blossom, and that's what you use as you go through your journey, your healing journey, whatever it is. Yeah. So sorry, Scott. Yeah, that was the long, short answer.
I think the important thing, though, isn't it, that for those people who have done the work that we've done, we've learned Reiki, we've learned other techniques and practices. Oh dear, I don't know what's happening with my tongue tonight. We've learned them, but it's that remembering to use them for ourselves.
Oh, yes.
How many people, you know, and I've taught Reiki, and it's just been, and I've seen my students say, oh, have you been using your Reiki? No. And you've got something wrong with you, and you're still not using your Reiki. And it's just like, you know, sort of, if something happens to me, it's just like the first thing I do is right, Reiki, toning, what can I do for me? But then I suppose that's how I got into all of this. It was having had the wake-up call, having gone through all that I had to with that, and then coming out the other side, etc., all this, the whole story, and then I feel blessed. But what can I do for me? I felt there was more. But what can I do for me? It wasn't about who can do this for me, who can help me. What can I do for me?
Your own self-healing, absolutely.
And when somebody, I sort of connected with somebody and said, oh, when you learn Reiki, the first person you treat is yourself. And I'd actually put that out to the universe. I'd said, I've been sat on the stairs one day at home, and it was just like, what can I do to help me? If I learn massage, I can't exactly massage myself. And I remember sitting on the top of the stairs, and it was and I didn't even know what I was doing at that point in time. But I put it out to the universe, and I think was within a couple of weeks, I found myself going to a mind, body, spirit. I think it was a holistic fair. A friend of mine came along, the very first person inside that event. I went and talked to her, a lady called Angie. She was sharing about an angel day, about a technique called metamorphic technique, and the fact that the lady running the angel day was also her Reiki master. That's how Reiki came into the conversation. I went to that angel day. I met Elaine, and she is my Reiki master.
Ooh.
I still didn't understand what I'd done that day on the stairs.
But you put it out to the universe, hadn't you?
Put it out to the universe, and
universe
the universe, when you put things out to the universe, be prepared for the answers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's an amazing thing, because we don't give it the credence. It's not until you're talking about it now that you sort of come back and you think, oh yeah, right, the universe really did answer my question. So, and this happens, and it's wonderful, because the journey that we all been on, you can see where you're being guided to do the things that you do, and you didn't think about it at the moment, but we were manifesting, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were manifesting. Yeah.
The intent was the most important thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, intention. Oh, so important. So important. Yeah.
Absolutely. David.
Yeah, I was going to bring up this little bit. There may be people listening in at any time saying, well, what is an energy block? What have I got an energy block? They may not be aware of having an energy block, but it could be tripping them up along the way, and they could be feeling frustrated why they can't move forward, either emotionally or physically or mentally. And they may not understand that there is a block there that has come in from somewhere. Either it's been, passed on to us down through our DNA, or it may have been something that has been put on us early in life and we haven't realized. And let's say, for example, we could say, okay, you're not tall enough for that. You're not tall enough to do that, just for an example. And then that stays in your body. And then you carry it all through, and there's this blockage saying, oh, I can't stand up high enough, or something like that. Or I can't do this because I feel I can't stand tall enough. And so, although they may not feel it, there could be prime examples of that, which is an energy block. So how would, how from your point of view, would somebody go to release that energy block that they may or may not have? Is there a process that you do yourself, or that you can suggest, or to help people clear what they may or may not know that they have?
Okay, so you're talking about limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
All right. Those are limiting beliefs that we are programmed with. And we carry them through unless we release them. So, but what I do, and people come to me for, I get a lot of people that can't connect to source. And they are so desperate because they used to once upon a time, but they can't anymore. And or they can't do it at all. So I go through all of the first thing I check out is, I just go through their energy bodies. So, and then inevitably the energy bodies will be blocked. So you're talking etheric, mental, emotional, seven of those, right? They'll be blocked. Absolutely, it's a given. Chakras will be blocked. Okay. Sorry, when my voice changes, it's because I'm coming into somebody's chakras or some of you's chakras that are blocked. It affects my voice.
Sorry, that's me.
No. It's just the way they work with me with energy.
Yeah.
David. All right. And as soon as I come into a part of the energy, the part of the body or part of the physics, what I call the energy matrix. And as soon as I come into that, there's so many parts to our energy matrix people have no understanding about. And these are where the places that get blocked. And that's why they can't go forward and they get frustrated because of that. Right. And then they decide, oh God, you're not helping me, so I'm not going to do this anymore. Right. And then they just keep on doing the same old, and they keep spiraling down because of it. That's my understanding. Right. So a chakra and quite a lot of people have their crown chakras blocked. That's it. Crown's blocked. And so, that's where your main connection is. Yes. One of the main connections. So I will go in and help them. I'll go through very fast. When I work, I go very, very fast. Just clearing out all of their energy bodies, all of the chakras. And not to mention the minor chakras, because those are important because they're in all of the joints and other places in the body. And if energy is stuck there, that's where we can get pain. Just like Scott mentioned. Another thing are the meridians. A lot of people have meridians. I'm picking up meridians are blocked in our little group here. So meridians are blocked as well. Again, you've got lung meridian, you've got heart meridian. So if there's an issue with that, those meridians will be blocked. So it's not just as simple as, going in and clearing their limiting beliefs, which is a big thing. And it's something that I have worked on and have helped people with, yes. But when people come to me, sometimes they're so blocked, they don't even know what their issue is. And so once that's all cleaned out, they feel, oh my gosh, I feel lighter. I actually have some clarity because I clear the brain as well. I love the brain. The brain to me is just the most fantastic thing. It's our CEO. It rules the body. Everything from here is in charge of what's going down under here. So I loved when working with the brain because it can tell you so much, and you can do so much when you know where to go to in the brain to help vertigo, things like that, or dizziness and or pain, the pain in the right leg, which is connected to the left side, anything like that. You can clear all of that. So this is much bigger than just clearing limiting beliefs. David, does that make sense for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just also that people may not understand that they've got them.
Most people don't know.
Sometimes we're aware and think, oh, I've got a blockage because I can't get that done. But some people don't not putting people down. I don't want that, but
No.
they don't aware. You know, some
You don't know what you don't know, as the saying goes.
I'm carrying stuff that is so deep that I don't know I'm carrying it.
What I love to do is, David, because, we overthink everything. Absolutely everything we overthink, right? So I just keep things as simple as I possibly can. If somebody comes to me with something new, I'll just go straight and I'll ask my guides, okay, so can we clear that? Sure, and clear it. I don't know what it is, and I don't know how it's done, but I just get it done. And I love that. I'm not saying that I'm anything special, but that's the way I work. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
So I'm just, the reason I'm laughing is because we are simpatico, in that when I'm dealing with energy, I don't need to know the history. I don't need to know the what ifs and the stories and everything else. I know that if it's non-resonant energy, it's got to go. Yep. Does this serve you any longer? No. Then I need you to allow it to leave. If you're gonna, if they really truly want to work, they allow it to leave. The fear, the one thing that I found is that there is fear, and something they've carried for so long, since they were children. The fear of that not being there, because they've always identified with it. That it's always been there. So it's kind of like a binky, they kind of hang on to it, and it's part of who they are. And that release is a bit scary because it's not there anymore. And I work really hard with clients to make sure that they don't allow that energy back in once you clear it. Because, if you just, it's like a diet. If you start eating the way you lose weight, and then if you start eating the way you used to, you're going to gain the weight back, right?
Back home.
So energetically, you go on a different diet. You bring in different energy. You don't allow those same old patterns back in. Yeah. And it really, that's when people can change.
Yes, that's so true. Because, their belief system and the fear, as you talk about. I also work with past lives, their patterns that they've brought in from past lives, and also ancestral, huge. These are all very, very relevant in people's lives today. And once that's cleared, it's like, this is a whole different person that we're dealing with.
How do you see ancestral? What is it, or how does it come out in people? How have you seen it?
Patterns that they have. And I just ask my guys, I says, is this ancestral? Yes, boom, gone. So then I ask when it cleared, I cleared that back 30 generations, 30. Yeah. That allows no way that they can come back.
Wow.
30 generations. Yeah.
But you're not only healing that person, are you? You're healing all the
healing
ancestors.
Their ancestors. Yes, thank you, David. Yes. Yeah. So you're dealing on all of those levels. It's just beautiful. And as I say to them, just imagine the work you've just done. You've facilitated the healing for all those people, those ancestors that carried the same issue as you.
And forward.
And forward, and progeny. Yeah, because I always say to you, and progeny as you go forward. All your siblings and any progeny as you go forward. Yeah. It stops now and here. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Ella. How many people are saying it stops with me?
Absolutely.
And there are more and more people that sort of they've grown up in households, and I've had clients come to me, and they, men and women who've been in abusive households, that what they've witnessed, and it stops with me. This does not happen to my children. What happens to me does not happen to my children. They're determined that, and it has gone back ancestrally for the majority of people.
Yeah.
How their parents have been is how their parents were, and their parents and their parents and their
the mentoring, the programming again. Yes,
it's gone back. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can give no names and pack drill. I won't do that. But the comment that I heard very recently, and it was to do with somebody who eventually left a very abusive marriage. Mm-hmm. And the brothers went round and to the parents, and sort of, but that's how it is in this country. That is how we treat our women. Yes, and I'm not going to name the country, but it was just like, and one of the other brothers had their wife leave them as well for exactly the same reason. Mm-hmm. Because that is all they witnessed, was that men did not have to treat their women well.
Well, yeah. Interesting, because, sorry, but, Sarah, because I have a gentleman in India, and he's trying to break the pattern because he can see that it happened through his father and his grandfather and on and on. So it's really a lovely recognition from his part that he has to break the pattern.
Yeah, sadly, with this particular family, it's and it's definitely not in India. Sadly, with this particular family, those brothers are going to perpetuate, and one just hopes that, for the children's sake, they don't.
Yeah.
It's
not easy.
No, it isn't. You talked about that that blockage of the sort of the crown, and I'm thinking about religion, and especially as I was raised as a Catholic, and I have walked away not just from the Catholic Church. I've actually walked away from every religion. I'm class myself as spiritual. My beliefs go way beyond sort of anything that's within a particular religion. But I am content. I am happy. Whatever you choose to believe that feels right for you, I accept that for you. I'm not going to try and change you. But potentially for people that have left a religion or have been within the Catholic Church, it's been you can commit a murder and you can get forgiven, but if you break your marriage, then that's the end of it for you. You know,
mortal sin. You committed a mortal sin.
Oh, absolutely. You know, so you can't get forgiven for that. And this is where Conversations with God, the book by Neil Donald Walsh, was the books were so brilliant. But so I suppose for some people, if they've done something that's potentially pushed them out of the group, the religion, the whatever, potentially they feel they've been cut off from the Creator, from Source. Because I don't tend to use the word God much myself these days. And so I suppose, yes, that goes almost back to learned behavior, but because that's how it's preached. But that could potentially be one of the reasons that some people have that block to Source. Whereas
you're talking about a much more complicated set of circumstances there. Right?
Yeah.
Because these people are so entrenched in their religion, it's taken over their lives. End of story. For myself, I grew up Catholic in every sphere of every year of my life until I left school at whatever time it was, 1980, 19 thereabouts. Right from the very big get-go, I knew that religion, that this Catholicism, that this blind faith, it didn't sit right with me. Yeah. So, but I really honor and I value the lessons that I did learn, in that religion at that time. It's just not my reality now. And, in many ways, I also envy my girlfriends, the girls that I went to school with, because they're still entrenched in that. And that's their sucker, right? That's their everything. And I think, wow, why couldn't I stay? Why couldn't I be like that and just believe? And just, I couldn't.
My godmother was a nun. So, and I nearly had a godfather as a priest.
Yeah. So those people, there's not very many of them, but they are there. But that's much more complicated because they're so entrenched in that religion. They think it's all that everything that controls their lives. Basically, it's all about a control. End of story. So if they have left that religion or have left that the group of people that they were with, then it's because of whatever their beliefs were or whatever change came about. That's when they really need to find help and to understand what it is that they're going through so that they can get out of those blocks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Thank goodness there's not too many, I don't think.
Yes, but hopefully. Hopefully. Sort of, Scott.
I love how direct your manner is. I absolutely adore it.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm sure. I've often been very, very direct with people, and they've been put off by it. But what I find in doing the work, and I don't know if you find this, is that it is pretty straightforward for what you see and for what you understand, and that energy is kind of a on or off a lot of times. There are always shades of gray, of course, but when you're talking about ancestral wounds, I've had to clear.
Ooh, I can feel it. You're just talking about it.
Sorry.
Sorry.
But ancestral wounds, and for those who don't know, it's an energetic dagger or sword. I got rid of a spear the other night. But it's energy, and it takes its form. We talk about energies, and Sara, we've talked about it often, about, when we talk about unicorns, dragons, and different light beings, is that it's different forms of energy. They take those forms for us to be able to understand it. And I just didn't know some of your experiences with some of those heavy and light energies.
Who are you talking to?
You.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I come across a lot of entity energies. Yes. And I almost inevitably, when I come into someone's sphere, I have to say to them, I'm sorry, but I have to clear this because it's interfering with my work. Yeah. And the majority of people, it's quite interesting. They know that they've got those and they say, oh, thank you. Yeah, it's interesting. And then others say, oh, I thought I'd cleared that. Somebody cleared that for me a year ago. And I said, well, no, because we're going through life and you're picking stuff up all the time. So it's beholden for us to have our energy cleared by ourselves. We need to do the work to clear this. It's all very well. What people want to do basically is they pay their money and it's like the pill. Give me money, I'll give you a pill and you can get rid of it. It's not like that, especially with energy work. It's not like that at all. Yeah. So, but when you're talking about dragon energy, and I love it because I have dragon energy too.
Yes, David.
David, you're a dragon as well.
I hope I don't pass on anything to you.
You won't. Sorry, this joking around. This is energy.
That's okay. There's a lot of people think, they might get afraid. I think fear is a big thing as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And especially at this particular time. And there's a lot of created fear, can I say,
yes,
around manufactured fear. And that is deliberately, I feel, to put blocks on you,
control,
and to stop you going forward. But if people as it's come in, it's an energy, it can leave. So like with your work, it can be help left. So it's important if anybody's out there watching tonight or on catch up, pardon me, and saying, oh my goodness me, I've got this blockage now. It's nothing to be afraid of because we can release it as it comes in. And we don't want fear to go on top of fear and layer it and really anchor it, because it is fear, I think, is one of the most destroying to our energetic field. And we are so much energy. So if energy can come in, it can flow out. So if anybody is thinking, I've got a blockage, what am I going to do? Please don't worry. It's not harming you as such. It's not, it can be moved. We can deal with it.
Yeah. I was working with somebody one day. It was this Reiki session. And I'm not one of these people who actually hears things, sees things. But sometimes I get a real sense of knowing. And working down this individual's body, and I got to the solar plexus. Now, I sort of see the solar plexus as being the core of our being. And like a well, where all the stuff we haven't dealt with is just poured into that. And it just festers until we obviously take that lid off the well and we start dealing with all those things so that we can sort of move forward. And with this particular person, I just got the sense the lid was off the well, but all the gunk was still inside it. The lid was off. And so I told them this after the session. No, and I really do not remember what the session was they'd had and who, and I don't even think they said who it was with. No, I had a session of such and such the other day. They've cleared everything. As I think was already commented here, we have to be involved in our own process of letting go. There are certain things that people, if it's totally finished with, that can be removed for us, but the majority of the time we have to be involved in that process.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I looked at this particular person and I said, I am really sorry. They've removed the lid, but they haven't managed to get rid
the
of
contents.
No, the content is all still in there. I have no idea what happened, never saw that person again, but it doesn't matter. You know, I had a friend I should say, constantly going to people. They've done this for me, and bless them, they've got quite a depressive sort of, being about themselves. And so they can go very low, bless them. And they go on a 2-day high, and I watch them crash.
Mm-hmm.
Because that individual hasn't been able to do what they said, because the person they're working with hasn't been involved in the process. So this is where sort of, when I connected with Reiki, it was about, what can I do for me? I wasn't looking for other people to do it for me. Yes, I've had help from people. Yes, I have. But I've been involved in my own process. I work with myself. Yeah. And I think that's the important thing for people to understand. You were saying, sort of, Virginia, it's not a matter of, I've paid my whatever, and I'm that pill. It doesn't work. Working with energy, working with the clearing doesn't work like a pill that eases the pain for a little while, but hasn't actually got rid of the root cause.
Yep, absolutely. Which is why whenever I do my sessions, I always do recordings. And I say to them, at the end of this, I'll send you the recording. Play that recording once a day. Just allow it to keep doing the work that we've just accomplished today. So it keeps on manifesting and clearing as you go. Yeah. Then they say, you mean I can still get the healing from the recording? Yes. That's what it's there for. I'm very pragmatic, Scott. I just tell people I try and do it in a very nice way. I don't do anything or say anything to offend, but if something has to be said, it's said. From my perspective, anyway.
I think it's important. Yeah. Sorry, Scott.
Yeah, important stuff.
Go ahead, David.
I think we've touched on it, and as you've touched on it, Virginia, that it should be simple. It should be done and out of the way. We bog ourselves down so much in this world, up in here, and we've got to learn this, we've got to do that, and it's got to be so complicated to prove that we're trying to do something. It's just madness. Can you imagine all what we're doing is being done before with the wisdom of the elders and the wisdom keepers? This is nothing new. We're remembering and working with something that's been around thousands of years. But we've got to understand this, and with 4 years of doing something in the head, and sometimes we need to take those qualifications. But at the end of the day, everything should be simple, because all those wisdom keepers before never went to college. They just felt the inside and let it go. They didn't have all the certificates hanging on their walls wherever they were, but they were. It is, and I'm not putting that down, but we've got to keep it simple. And yes, we've got to give ourselves permission to release, because if we don't give ourselves permission to release in a session, then we're going to say, well, you're not going to get in here and you're not going to clear this because I'm not giving you the permission to. So it really has got to be a two-way thing, but keeping it at the end of the day so simple and get this mind out of things.
Absolutely, David. Yeah.
So, by the way, the recording, I don't record sessions, but I love the idea of it so that they can replay it and kind of relive it. And I agree with you, David. The simplicity of it. I try to give clients a very simple task, homework to do, and that is to do self-healing. 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes, whatever they can give it, but to do it on a regular basis in order to maintain that clarity. Do you feel clear? Oh, I feel wonderful. Oh, I feel lighter than I felt in so long. Wonderful. Do you want to keep it? Because you can come back to this place that we are right now anytime you'd like. But you need to do the work. And it's not a one shot. This is your life. This is your journey. This is how you're going to go forward. And if you want to feel this way all the time, with clarity, with being grounded, you need to do that kind of work. And it lasts a bit until it doesn't anymore. And I think the difference between we who practice, and it's practice because there are some days I do my meditations and I don't get very far. There are some days that I do meditations and I get distracted. There are some days when I'm just boom there.
Gone.
But every day is different. But it's the practice of it, and because we never get it perfected, right? So it's practice and rituals, and so that it becomes. And I use the word rituals as practice with attention to complete attention to what you're doing, because we all have habits. Right? We do things automatically, and so we don't even think about it. But when we do those things and have an intention, and we have awareness, and we bring ourselves to it, it becomes a ritual that actually does do the healing.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's, if you, as you say, Scott, it's not that you're going to get it perfect every time, yes, but it's in the doing. That's where the magic happens. And for me, the best place that I just go to the heart. I go down into the heart, connect to the heart, because the heart will tell you something totally different from the mind, as you already know, right? So you can ask the same question from the mind. You go, okay, mind, tell me about da-da-da-da. And then you go, okay, wait, I'm going to go into my heart and I'm going to ask the same question. Two totally different answers from the heart and from the mind. So always I try to go to the heart. And whenever I have clients, I say, look, just cross your hands over your heart center, go underneath your hands, close your eyes, don't think, just feel. Just feel. And they love it.
This can be the worst thing, can't it?
Sorry, Donna?
This can be the worst thing.
Oh, it's the thing that holds us back. And it's also the thing that gives us all the joy that we could possibly, and bliss. Yes. So yeah, it's the double-edged sword, or the two sides of the coin, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But we have to harness it. We have to nurture it to make it get us to that place of bliss and of joy and of peace. Yeah.
We keep mentioning keep it simple. And I know this comes from, I think, from a lot of the services, and it's called KISS. But I actually wouldn't use the term that they use for KISS, which is keep it simple, and I won't use the last word. I will spell it KISSS. Keep it simple, sweet soul.
There we go. That's a new one.
KISS. And it is about keeping our lives as simple as possible. I am actually one of these people. I ground. I put my roots down every morning. I actually do it every night. But I also put my branches up for that connection to source, being like that tree. And
I have a process. Sorry, darling. I have a process called Triple Heart, and it's your own beautiful heart, which you instantaneously you expand it, and it connects both straight away between the three hearts. And it's just beautiful. Then you take it outside of you. But yeah, I like that yours is, we all have our different ways of doing things, right? In different methods. Yeah. So yours is beautiful. I like that. The branches of a tree. Trees are gorgeous. They're just gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, I've got this sort of connection with wood. So sort of it is all about earth. So I think for each and every one, isn't it about what is speaking to you, but speaking to your heart?
What makes your heart sing, is what I say. Yeah.
Absolutely. Sort of, if you're looking for support, feel the energy. Is that the right person for you? Not everybody is right for everybody. Not every technique is right for everybody, but a technique might be correct for you, but the individual isn't.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Because it's the energies of that. If you've got the energy, it might sound sort of strange. If you've got the energy of the practitioner, the energy of the room, then there's a good chance the energy of the actual practice will be at its best for you.
That's true. But then taken in consideration as well, though, Sarah Jane, that a lot of people don't have that discernment because of the blockages, because they're blocked. So they can't figure that out and they don't know.
But hopefully by listening to programs like these, people will
consciousness
start to get a sense of there is more than going to one particular person. Maybe I have to spread my wings and fly but fly, FLY. First, love yourself. And that is to start.
Sorry, I think. Sure. Scott, do you do muscle testing?
Yes, ma'am. I do polarity therapy and theta healing. And in theta, it's always muscle.
I do theta too. Sorry.
Well, we seem to have an awful lot in common. So in our philosophies dovetail. But I want to keep it very, very straightforward for anybody listening. And that is, we talk about a lot of different aspects.
Yeah.
All four of us. and we all deal with a lot of different energies. But what it comes down to is what is going on within you? What is your energetic body doing? And to be able to tailor the session, to be able to take care of what your needs are at that moment, in that time, so that you can stand grounded, both feet on the ground, so you can stand centered, so that you feel really solid, so all of your energy is working at the same time. You can feel the flush of energy when it's moving. I love the reactions of people especially when we're doing Reiki, and they feel that first flush of energy all the way through them, and they go, "Whoa, what was that?" And the tingling all the way down to their toes and all the way out their fingers, and that's that awareness that we're trying to bring to everybody, is about who you are.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
David, any final words?
Yeah, first of all, can I thank you, because it's so fascinating, your work, and how you were kind of pushed into it against your will, shall we say. So the universe definitely had you doing this job.
Yeah.
But I think overall, yes, they're just at this moment in time, this transitional time for the world, should we say, it is very heavy for people. And I think, wherever, like you say, Sarah Jane, wherever people find themselves being drawn to, this is a time of real self-care. And this is not, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity to look at the care of yourself, because we are being bombarded with energy from left, right, and center, and probably much of it is not for our best well-being. So have a look and see what you're carrying for other people as well as yourself, and do a bit of self-care and try and clear that, so your well-being is at its most optimum at this time.
Very true. Well said, David.
Any final words, Virginia? Because we're nearly at an hour.
Oh my goodness, that went so fast.
I know.
How come? I was just having a great old time here.
And I'm just about to put your website up into the chat as well, and I will make sure that is underneath the video. So if you're watching the replay on YouTube, it's there. So Virginia, any final words?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you for being here on the call with me and inviting me anyway, you, Sarah Jane. And just to let everybody know that there's a bright light of which you are all part of, and you have that light within you. And I remember one of my gurus saying to the person that I held very dear, and he said, "We are all diamonds. We just have different layers of mud on those diamonds. And as you start to clear those mud off, your diamond, the diamond that is you, will start to shine, and your light will go where it's needed to go, which is right now, everybody's needing that light, as are we. Yeah, so we are just diamonds in the mud. It just needs clearing off. So by all means, if you can, go into yourself, go into your heart center, check in with your hearts, and find out if you need clearing. And then if you can do it for yourself, well and good. That would be beautiful. Because we all have that within us to do so. Thank you, Sarah Jane. Thank you, Scott, and thank you, David.
Thank you. Your website is virginiaroundsgriffiths.com. Sorry, virginiaroundsgriffiths.com. It's in.
That's me.
I will make sure it's underneath the video. Virginia, thank you so much for joining us and sharing this conversation with us today.
Oh,
thank you to my co-hosts as well.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure meeting you two. Thank you, because I already knew Sarah Jane, and it's been lovely. Thank you so much.
Oh, real pleasure. Namaste. Next week, David's back. with Patricia Kerrins, and we're going to be sharing sound energies for clearing stagnant energies around the planet. And we're going to be having fun with some sound next week. I hope that you'll consider joining us for that. In the meantime, take care, be safe, stay well. Namaste, sweet souls. Namaste.
Thank you.